Welcome to Lecture 3. Today, we are examining the mechanics of cyberattacks, the systemic challenges they pose, and the countermeasures required to secure digital infrastructure. Early computer systems were mostly targeted by lone individuals experimenting with code, but the threat model has scaled aggressively. The attackers testing our firewalls today are organized syndicates and well-funded nation-states executing highly coordinated campaigns. These modern threat actors operate with specific objectives. The primary goal is often the targeted exfiltration of sensitive data, stripping proprietary information or personal records from a secure server. A second major objective is operational disruption. Rather than stealing data, the attacker deliberately overloads or sabotages critical systems to halt a target's day-to-day operations. Beyond theft and disruption, attackers seek unauthorized, persistent access, installing backdoors that allow them to remain undetected in a network for months. The ultimate result is severe financial and reputational damage to the compromised organization. We cannot defend an architecture if we do not know how it will be attacked. Mapping the specific tactics of these highly organized adversaries is the mandatory first step in engineering any effective cybersecurity defense. Despite the massive complexity of global networks, the vast majority of cyber threats can be categorized into a few major tactical vectors. This diagram illustrates malware, specifically ransomware. Malicious software enters a system, locates user files, and forcefully encrypts them, as represented by the padlock clamping shut. The attacker then holds the decryption key hostage until a financial demand is met. Phishing, by contrast, bypasses the software completely. It is a psychological exploit. Instead of writing complex code to crack a password, the attacker simply tricks the user into voluntarily handing over their credentials. Take a look at this side-by-side comparison. On the left is a legitimate corporate email. On the right, a meticulously faked phishing attempt. Attackers spoof trusted websites and leverage social engineering tactics, relying on the user missing slight flaws in a sender address or a deceptive link. Then we have denial of service, or DOS, and its distributed variant, DDoS. Here, attackers point massive volumes of fake traffic at a target system. The server expends all its resources trying to process the fake requests, causing the actual website to crash and become unavailable to real users. This data flow demonstrates a man-in-the-middle attack. Information is traveling from point A to point B, often over an insecure channel, like public Wi-Fi. An attacker inserts an invisible third node midway, secretly siphoning the packets and reading the data as it transits. These primary vectors succeed because they exploit human trust and basic network availability requirements. You cannot patch human psychology with a software update. Moving deeper into technical exploits, attackers target authentication directly through password attacks. They will use brute force, running through millions of random character combinations, or dictionary attacks, testing lists of commonly used passwords until one works. Watch this text input field. This is SQL injection. Instead of a standard username, malicious database syntax is entered. The server executes the command, causing a secure table to spill its records. This timeline represents a zero-day attack. When a new vulnerability is discovered, there is a dangerous window before developers write a fix. Attackers exploit this gap, striking while unknown. Every successful attack we have covered relies on a simple mathematical equation. First, a system vulnerability must exist. Second, a motivated threat actor must find it. The equation is complete when a third element is added, the total absence of an effective defense to block the exploit. Highly motivated threat actors are a permanent fixture of the digital environment. To break the equation and prevent a breach, defenders must focus entirely on eliminating vulnerabilities and erecting durable barriers.
This visualizes rapid threat evolution. Security teams aren't fighting a static enemy. New malware strains appear daily, forcing defenders to constantly update their threat libraries. At the same time, defenders must account for human error. A sophisticated firewall offers zero protection if a user chooses a weak password or voluntarily clicks a malicious link. We face the complexity paradox. Notice how this single node expands into a dense web of cloud architectures and IoT devices. Every new device added violently expands the attack surface. The math is brutal. More complexity equals more vulnerabilities. The modern hacker does not sit at a keyboard manually guessing passwords. They leverage artificial intelligence and automated scripting tools to scan thousands of networks for weaknesses simultaneously. Organizations are forced to defend against these automated threats while operating under severe limitations. They face restricted IT budgets, a lack of enterprise-grade security tools, and a shortage of skilled professionals. Defending modern infrastructure is a highly asymmetric battle. Every new technological convenience we adopt simultaneously gifts an attacker a brand new point of entry. To secure an expanding attack surface against automated threats, single-point solutions fail. The primary strategic countermeasure is an architecture called defense in depth. We start at the inner core, technical controls. This baseline deploys firewalls, antivirus, and encryption. But technology requires governance. The second ring locks in administrative controls. These dictate security policies and access procedures. The final outermost shield completes the architecture, human awareness. Continuous training ensures employees maintain password hygiene, closing psychological vulnerabilities. Operationally, these layers require constant maintenance. Regular software updates and patching are required to physically close discovered vulnerabilities before attackers can exploit them. Because breaches still happen, teams require strict incident response planning. They must be prepared to quickly detect anomalies and execute recovery protocols before the attack spreads. Buying the most expensive firewall on the market will not secure a network. True defense relies on the holistic integration of technology, rigid policy, and educated human operators. Theoretical frameworks map directly to historical breaches. In our first case, a massive DDoS botnet attack flooded major platforms with garbage traffic, forcing them offline. The primary lesson from this botnet attack is that system availability is a critical, non-negotiable pillar of enterprise security. In our second case, several prominent e-commerce websites suffered massive data breaches. Attackers extracted entire customer databases using simple SQL injection attacks. The lesson extracted here is technical. Strict input validation on all user-facing text fields is absolutely essential to shield back-end data from malicious code. Finally, our third case highlights widespread phishing campaigns that specifically targeted university students and staff, compromising thousands of internal accounts. This proves that no matter how secure the network is, human awareness remains the deciding factor. Look at this operational loop. The overarching reality of computer science is that no system is 100% secure. Therefore, the strategic goal shifts from absolute prevention to minimizing risk and impact. This is the cybersecurity lifecycle. Because perfect prevention is impossible, organizations must divide their investments equally. They must build barriers to prevent attacks, deploy sensors for rapid detection, and engineer resilient networks for immediate response. As threat actors automate and evolve, standing still means falling behind. Effective defense demands a continuous, iterative loop of technical solutions, enforced policies, and human vigilance to survive the inevitable breach.